What's good, everybody? Welcome to another week of the SFL US breakdown. We are in week 7, close to closing out the Street Fighter League US, right? So it's been a hell of a ride so far, right? This week we had, what was it? We had Nasser versus Endemic, we had Red Rooster versus Bandits, and of course we had UIU versus Vortex to close it all out. It's gonna be a good one, man. I love seeing the way people have kind of developed over their time in SFL. I feel like we're starting to see a lot of answers to things that have been pestering people throughout the weeks so far. How you feeling about it, Lazarus?
Yeah, I've sort of had that revelation as well. I've also seen like a few players that maybe at the start just didn't look so hot, let's just say, put it kindly. But now they're like looking really good, and I wonder if it's specifically the SFL environment, like being there obviously for about a week, don't they, when they film it? But being there just with all those high-level players has suddenly leveled everyone up, and you can feel that in the matches. They're all so close this week.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's hop into it, shall we? Without any further ado, where we had Punk versus ChrisCCH to start everything off, and you know how it is when a Punk match is on the table. We're gonna see some great footsies, but I actually really like the way ChrisCCH played him. I thought he did a really good job of the neutral, not giving him too much, especially at the beginning. There was a great stand light kick usage. Like, I think we already saw it off that first hit, and he uses it again a little bit later on. I think it's like on block, yeah, right here. So on block, that stand fierce is -2, right? So from this spacing, Punk doesn't feel comfortable to go with the jab. He knows the light's not going to reach, so he tries the crouch medium kick. That's 8 frames. And then the stand light kick, of course, is 5 frames. With the -2, that's 7. That's still going to be able to beat the crouch medium kick. So I like the way he opened up against Punk.
Yeah, especially like in the corner, like normally the weakness of doing that with the stand light kick is that it's just really easily whiff punished if you just do a slightly slower normal. But in the corner, you got nowhere to walk away from it, so it really works. And I like the buffer into the OD Jinra as well, something that doesn't really see a lot of use. But even on block, actually turns out it's quite safe, and you can also start a mix up and things like that, especially if you've got level 2 loaded in the chamber.
Oh man, and this right here, there's a couple of moments at the beginning that I want to talk about a little bit here. Let me see. I think he ends up using, so we see the stand heavy punch to the to the light kick right here, right? And then right after that, he does it again, and this time he's like, all right, Punk's gonna respect it a little bit. He's able to use the crouch light kick into the drive rush, and it actually resulted in a hit, but he committed to the tick throw. Didn't think Punk was gonna get hit by this, and this is where the round turned around, because as we all know, Cammy and her side switching, she got that all day, and Punk is just a master of breaking down people in the corner.
Yeah, sometimes like getting hit is just the right thing, actually, it turns out, you know. But yeah, Punk pretty much runs away from it. Obviously, you spent so much on that drive rush cancel only to get punish counted, and then now you had so little drive gauge to work with, and Cammy, when you're in burnout, is such a pain to deal with, especially Punk. He knows how to abuse that, and you know, we see that basically in the next game specifically, which is something I wanted to point out. But yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah, before we leave this moment, I just wanted to say, like, I really love the way Punk broke it down here, because he was just kind of peppering him. He was respecting the wake-up options, right? He was able to bait those out, which were the big reads. That was the big skill thing that Punk did here, was making those right reads on the wake-ups to actually keep him locked down in the corner. But I love the way he structured the offense here, and like ends up burning him out, right? He takes the throw. He doesn't get too greedy to go for the burnout, right? He actually throws him in between, and then he starts peppering on the burnout again, and then he saves the dive kick once he's in burnout, because even from that range, right, if it's blocked, the dive kick is still going to be a good frame situation for Punk because of the burnout. I just felt like this was also calculated, man.
Yeah, it'll cover so many options, that dive kick. If you try to like back jump, even forward jump, it might catch you as well if you're not pressing that button. So it's just like covering the entire screen space. You got nowhere to go. You basically got an anti-air, but you know, Cammy dive kick, not the easiest thing to anti-air, as we know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this moment right here, right? He gets this low forward cancel, and this is the problem, is like when you sort of drive rush cancel and get nothing, like people think, oh, drive rush canceling is so broken, like on low forward. But if you actually defend, like if you just jump back and pause it right at the moment when he takes the throw, and you just check the drive meter situation right here, like how does it feel if you are ChrisCCH right in this moment? Like it does not look good for you. It does not look good, and it doesn't feel good either. Like you have to chill out for so long. You're gonna have to zone out, you know, Punk and Cammy for so long for you to get that drive gauge back. Like if he got that throw, then yeah, okay, he's starting his regen quicker. He can be offensive, so it regens even quicker. But when you're now straight back to neutral off of one tech throw, like, and that's what happens when you guess wrong on offense after spending so much of your resources. And I think Punk knows this, right? Because if we watch the next like 10 seconds, we'll see him do like 5 heavy kicks. He's like, oh, you're low on drive gauge because you messed up. I'm just gonna attack the drive gauge, and then that's all he cares about. It's like all he's going for is like, okay, heavy kick, okay, heavy kick, okay, now I'm gonna really abuse the fact that I got so much drive gauge. Oh, and then he burns himself out with this drive rush cancel, and it's so immaculate from Punk. He realized that off of that one tech situation, he's like, oh, I guessed right defensively. I know how to win the round now.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it's so interesting because the disparity on drive gauge was so wild. And I have in my notes, burnout in the second round in game 1 felt like the reason Chris lost, right? And like you mentioned, the reason he got low in the first place was that drive rush cancel gambit. That is a gambit, man. As much as it turns out to be successful a lot of the time, like you said, when it's defended against, it leaves the opponent so crippled when it comes to their resources like that. And Punk having damn near full meter, having a great way to pepper on heavy chip damage to the drive gauge with that stand heavy kick, he really zones in on that win condition. And again, Chris, I mean, he's the one that ends up burning himself out, right? And that's kind of the nature of Ken a little bit, and the Ken players, they like to be aggressive, but in that moment, it's hard. It's hard if you're ChrisCCH, because you're like, I either am forced to like play defensively and try to make these moments happen where I don't end up getting chipped, where I stay out of stand heavy kick range, or it's just always putting him on the back foot, right? And that's not where you want to be as a Ken player. You want to be the aggressor. So it felt like he just kind of succumbed to that a little bit at the end, did the drive rush, ended up burning himself out. And I mean, when you don't roll all the way from that burnout, the end of this round happens, right? Where Punk just starts abusing the burnout, and you right here, the perfect timing, bro. Oh, the perfect timing on that DI. It was so messed up.
Perfect, man. Like, what the hell? But yeah, I mean, especially like, you can't give Punk like that much, man. Like, you know, he's just going to abuse it. That's why he's literally still undefeated. Yep. Because yeah, unfortunately, he does win the set. A little bit of a spoiler, but yeah, I mean, he does look really sick. And we're talking about, you know, obviously using the resources on that low forward is very committal, like especially the opponent defends it. But Punk shows you how not to do it, right? Low forwards are specifically designed this way, so you're not meant to be able to hit confirm them because of the fact that it would be completely busted with low forward. But there's other buttons you can use. So I think 3810, which we might be coming up to if you can check the timer.
Oh yeah. 38. We're getting here close. Right before we get to 3810, I have like a timestamp that's about to happen right now. It's just that I have crouch light punch dive kick is so good in this game with Cammy. We see it here, right? Like you just always want to press from that range when you block a light punch. It's minus. You're like, it's my turn, and dive kick just thwarts so many people's attempts at trying to press after a crouch light punch block.
I think like the fierce from Ken would actually be able to catch the like jumping movement from Cammy, but no, that's just not the case. Very unfortunate.
And I love again, right before we get to your timestamp, I just love the space that Punk plays at here and like the rest of this round. Like I think there's a specific moment that comes up that I have highlighted as well, but like the way he plays spacing wise at the end of this round is just ridiculous. Like I think he's so good at managing all of his different spaces. Like, so we see the side switch, right? And then from there, like he gets the double dash in, and then right there, right, he puts the crouch medium punch out at a space where if you return with a light punch, you're not in range to actually make Cammy do anything about it. So he has the stand fierce ready to whiff punish it behind him. Like he even tries to go right there, but the crouch jab from that distance, if you're not ready with stand light kick, you're not getting a full combo off that, right? So that was a moment that Chris kind of let slip by, but from here it's just all Punk. Even whiffing that stand fierce right there, that was like perfect range to counter poke a button attempt coming out. His spacing is just always so good.
I mean, there's definitely someone who's the best stat. Like we've been missing our like Punk pussy clips of the week, but sometimes there's like very subtle ones, right? And there's the very obvious ones, and sometimes, you know, he's been all subtle recently.
And then so you said 3810 was your timestamp, right?
Yeah. So I think it's the start of the next round, I believe. But obviously we're talking about how using the low forward is quite committal. Just play this route.
I have this here too, where like he tries to sneak in a crouch medium kick here, but again, like Punk just knows his ranges so well, right? Like he's like, bro, like from a jab at that distance, like he would have to probably try to go into that stand light kick again, something like that. But I think with the crouch medium push from Cammy, it would trade because it would both be 5-frame options. So again, right, like he has just everything so well prepared and cuts off the crouch medium kick. Ken's love stealing turns like that. The crouch light punch being -1 on block, 7-frame crouch medium kick. A lot of the time you can steal turns from that space where you can connect another light punch. But against Punk, he's too strong, right? He just cuts that off, wins the round, and now we'll get into your point with coming up here.
Yeah, so right here, you see this fierces? Those are hit confirmed. Like, this is a very hit confirmable normal.
True.
So, like, this is the other way to do it. He could be doing the same thing with low forward, right? But it's not hit confirmable. So instead, he's using the fierce, which obviously is not going to catch your opponent moving backwards. But here's a really good way to spend the 3 bars and still guarantee your offense. And look, he's already back up to 4 bars, off of one, throw situation. So it's like the situations are so much better if you're hit confirming off of like, yeah, it's not the low move. But if you guess wrong here, like if you miss the hit confirm or whatever, you're still not in the worst situation, but compared to like the low forward. But like that's just something that I wanted to point out because we saw like the one end of the coin where ChrisCCH autopilots the low forward into the drive rush, and then we see Punk hit confirming the fierce, and we can see the total night and day difference between that sort of play style.
Yeah, that little thing like that, right? Like it ends up being big in the high level matches, and when you're at this competitive top level, those little things matter so much. And yeah, as you mentioned, now you're not throwing away 3 bars, right? You're carrying them to the corner, you're continuing your offense, you are still in the green on top of that. Like Punk is just so good at managing his resources, like you mentioned, going with the hit confirm so he doesn't put himself in those positions where he's basically gambling on an offensive sequence and putting himself in the orange range on the drive gauge. By doing that, a lot of the time he's just like confirming it or ready to kill. I really like that, by the way, from ChrisCCH though here. After the stand medium kick, or it was a stand heavy kick. Yeah, stand heavy kick. Just walking forward and pressing that 5-frame stand medium punch. That's a very fast button for the hitbox that it is. And I think he's probably the best player at using stand medium punch. He takes the most risks with it, and I feel like he hits it in scenarios that a lot of other Ken players don't. So I just want to give Chris a little bit of props on that one too.
Yeah, it's definitely it's an awkward normal to use because it is so slow, so quick, but it obviously doesn't have like a normal medium punch hitbox.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where you really have to like perfect using it. And like you said, I think ChrisCCH probably is the best at doing it.
And then, to end this round or to end this set, it was just like, you can't drive rush on Punk for free. Right, Chris? I think maybe he even tried to fake him out a little bit there. We saw the check on the Dragon Lash that didn't combo. That would have been a way to do it, but there's the check right there. You just can't drive rush for free on Punk. Like, even from a range like that, right? It wasn't that far away. Like, he didn't do like some full screen drive rush or anything like that, but still, he's just so ready, man. His reactions can't test them.
Pretty inhuman reactions. I mean, he obviously, it's not just reactions. He's also just trained himself to like be quicker about it. Recognize the situations in which drive rush is going to come out. And that was just him being faster, than most.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he already had that at the forefront of his mind, right? He's like, all right, we've seen ChrisCCH. He goes for the drive rush in these instances. We saw it earlier on in the set too. He did a little parry right there, maybe trying to fake Punk out, or perhaps he didn't get the drive rush he was looking for. So yeah, definitely it was clearly on Punk's mind, allowed him to connect the synapses really fast. And it's just how it be when you play against one of the best. So next up,
and definitely looking like the best right now in SFL. I think is he still the only one undefeated? I think he is, but I have to double check.
I imagine that is the case. Well, while the other side of the coin here, as we take a look at the win rates, not the shimmy from Vicious right there. I wonder what music they were playing. But the win rates for these two guys, right, who are two of the best players in the world, also not that high, right, in SFL.
That's
definitely
actually surprising, yeah.
I agree. Like for both of these guys, I would have expected the win rates to be higher. So
I thought Reynald won like loads. Like I was like,
too.
oh damn, what?
I know Big Bird's won in 5 matches.
Moments,
like
I know, like what? He's often been the anchor, I guess, and I suppose you're always gonna get the toughest matchup as the anchor, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be the case, but we did see, especially in the first round, I really loved the Reynolds' awareness of the Superman punch up against Big Bird's Marissa. Obviously, Marissa is always looking for that, right? The Superman punch is a way to kind of get over projectiles. I really like the way it started, too, just the punish on that down forward heavy punch. But it felt like Reynolds was very aware that the Superman punch was kind of one of the things that Marissa tried to abuse in the matchup. We saw him neutral jump punish it. We saw him do a couple of different things. And I think he backdashed it once as well for a big punish. So I like the way he played this matchup right here, especially in round 1. And then we see Big Bird adjust after that.
Yeah, it's obviously one of my points as well. Is I just love the way Reynald was just actively using amnesia just so much, to be fair, but also just to use it on things that are reactable. You know, you don't have to use it defensively as a guess. Like, hey, the Superman punch is coming. Like, okay, well, I'll probably be too late to like jab check it or whatever. So I'm just gonna send out the amnesia. It gets me out of the situation, and he even gets some mix-ups off of it. You know.
Yeah. To highlight the specific point you're talking about, I have that down here too as well. This is the timestamp for it. So bam, right? OD amnesia, and then as you mentioned, he just follows it up, drive rush overhead as you're trying to escape the homing projectiles. Yeah, I really like that answer too. I was a big fan.
Regular amnesia as well, because it's still frame 2.
Yeah.
Right, but obviously the reward is a little bit less because you get one slightly less, like one less orb to work with, which can make a big difference, to be fair.
So this moment that's coming up right here at the beginning of this next round is one of my favorite moments all week that happens here. This is going to be on this drive rush, and then Reynald responds with a neutral jump. It's going to be coming up right here. Yeah, they trade, pushes them away, and then like that. This was so clean to me because Reynald here. So in response to the drive rush, he jumps right, but in response, I don't think this was like just a fortunate sequence of events. I think Big Bird sees the jump and uses stand heavy punch to get to the other side. That could have just been a fortunate thing that happened. But to me, this was him seeing the jump, going with the stand fierce, knowing that it pulls Mariza forward and that dodges the neutral jump button. And then he gets the, not even actually a landing punish on the other side, just a counter hit as Reynald tries to press on the scramble.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's hard to tell because Marissa's drive rush stand fierce is just an incredibly good button anyway to do.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, for sure, it's something that's, I mean, I quite like the neutral jump as a response to the drive rush. But yeah, so it's something that happens quite commonly. So I wouldn't be too surprised if Big Bird's already got some counterplay to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you bring up jumping in response to the drive rush, the BananaKen special, bro. Everybody's using it now. But I think we see that especially against JP this week. I noticed both Mena and I believe DCQ it was in the mirror. When playing against JP, they responded to JP's drive rushing at them by jumping. Because they were like, I don't want to play this crouch medium punch game with this disjointed ass hitbox. It's going to counter hit my check button. So they just been jumping. And I've been really liking that response.
I got this on my times as he's effing moving, man. Look at Reynolds' movement. What is that? What's he doing?
I didn't notice this.
Look at him. Look at it. He's like twerking on you.
Oh man!
It's when he's up close. That's the one that gets me.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
that is. I would have panicked like hell, man. I don't know what this guy's up to.
This right here.
Like, yeah.
What's going on with that?
What's he?
This
in those moments, how are you just twerking? Like what?
Oh man! Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
That little two-step right there. That was good stuff. I like that a lot from Reynald. Oh man! So let me see. I thought Big Bird also had lots of good forward medium punch. I think that was one of the things he kind of substituted his Superman punch strat with, right? As we kept going along with the set, it was like, all right, less Superman punch, more trying to work my way into that range for forward medium punch and really start to utilize that to make Reynald uncomfortable. I thought that was really good. Do you have any timestamps around now? My next one is like 45:56.
Yeah, mine's like 46, I think. There is some point, I didn't timestamp it though, but yeah, it's more of a comment. It might be coming up now, honestly. But Reynald just knows the ranges. Like, he knows his matchup seems really well. Like, he checks, like, it happens later on my timestamp. But yeah, he can check like the target combos from Marissa really well. And he just seems to know the range of Superman punch a lot. So he'll see the Superman punch, and rather than like try and interrupt it, he'll just walk away and get a whiff punish. And I think I can't remember the timestamp for it, but it's just like he clearly knew a lot about this matchup.
Yeah, there's one where he straight like hard backdash to the Superman punch, bringing him perfectly out of range. I think he stand fierce punished it. Like, he was very well practiced in this matchup, which I was pretty impressed with. Because I feel like,
same.
You know, this is the best Mariza in the world, in my opinion. I feel like NA, we don't have a super strong Mariza, at least on the level of Big Bird. Maybe we do have one that, well, I guess 801 Strider. I don't know how much he's played against 801 Strider. But besides that, I was really impressed with his knowledge in the matchup. But of course, Big Bird, he never goes quietly into the night, right? That second game was all him. He stopped Superman punching. He started figuring out how to get the big hits, started going in a little bit more. I really like the way he showed a lot of adjustments. But to get to my next timestamp here is going to come up in a few seconds. Let me see. Oh, I like that right there from Reynald. He's trying to parry the Gladiuses, right? He's trying to not get bullied, not get his drive gauge bullied down. And in this situation, he notices that it whiffs, right? And then he just drive rush cancels for the punish. I thought that was very smart awareness and great reactions.
A little parry OS you can do quite reliably versus Gladius. Like, you won't always get the punish because it does recover really quick.
Yeah.
But at least, you know, if you can be at a range where either you perfect parry it or you can at least drive rush in. But that super does so much damage. I just
yeah, no,
the counters when it activates, I was like, what the? Yeesh.
For one bar, that's
so did this one. So did this one. The wake up. Oh my god! I was like, wait, he died? Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, another thing that I thought, Big Bird did well in this matchup, despite, you know, losing in the matchup. He really conditioned baiting out the amnesias early and then started mixing in a good amount of throws.
Yeah.
Like we saw the command throws, we saw the regular throws to really kind of keep Reynald on his toes. I like that a lot. There was an umpty jump here, I believe, that I thought was a good illustration. Yeah, I thought this was a really good illustration on blocking on your landing frames, right? Because this had to have been like in those 3 vulnerable frames that otherwise you would have been hit if you pressed the button. Like that was
absolutely. That was like it was active as you hit the ground.
Yeah.
It's such a. I mean, I don't know why that crouch fist is still active. Look at that. What is that? Why is it even hitting him?
Yeah, where's the first frame of block stun here? Like, why?
Yeah, it's
why, bro?
Yeah, what? The cane's way up above his head. But I like it because it was something that come up in another matchup, but later on today. But yeah, like empty jumping against that anti-air is actually really smart.
It is.
Not in that case, apparently.
Yeah.
That would have been a punish if it whiffed, but hey, it did whiff apparently.
But you're right. I think I have that noted on another match later on too, where we see a clean empty jump on that crouch fierce. But yeah, do you have any? My next timestamp is like 48:09. It's kind of towards the end of the set. Do you have anything that you want to highlight?
46:40, I guess. 46:40? This was just bringing up that point where it already passed, but yeah, just how good he knows the matchup. Reynald just being able to check the target combo, the fierce target combo. It's got a big gap in between.
Yes.
Does frame trap like people trying to press, but if you press the jab, then you're interrupting. It's just like it was one of those things. I was like, oh, okay, he knows. You know what I mean?
Like, he's not getting bullied by any type of gimmicks in this matchup. Like, you're going to have to earn every hit.
Yeah.
And then for basically my last timestamp, I have, like, the end of the match written down a little bit.
Yes, me too.
For my actual timestamp, it's this one right here, where he does the level 3, and then the fake jump into throw, I thought was sick as hell, right? Because you see this jump in, you're like, off of a level 3, I think I got the timing to parry, the perfect parry this jump in. Presses it so early, fakes him out, baits him into the parry, and gets the punish counter throw, puts him on damn near death's door with the burnout, and then he burns himself out trying to parry the ghost. Like, oh.
It's a scary situation, but yeah, like you're just burning yourself out. You should be like pretty free to win, right? You just got to make him block once. But I also really like these neutral jumps. That's what I wanted to point out. Is like when your opponent's in burnout, especially, like they can't really do much about neutral jumps, right? Yeah, you just have to walk in and block, especially against JP's neutral jumps, which has like, you know, jump medium punch.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to walk easily into that. So yeah, the neutral jump's going to check all that approach checks the Superman right there. But yeah, it would have been really hard to deal with otherwise. I mean, I guess Marissa, you could scoot him, but then if he doesn't press anything or if he just whiffs, I mean, good luck. Like, you're already getting smoked.
Yeah.
So
and you're in burnout against JP, so you still have to respect the chip, right? Like, he's great at chipping you out. So he's going for these Superman punches, trying to avoid these chip attempts that Reynald might throw out. And he's just neutral jump, waiting for him to use that Superman punch to avoid it. Yeah, it was great discipline from Reynald to end that set 100%. So next up,
and getting that win rate up, you know?
Yeah, for real. Definitely glad to see the win rate increase for my man Reynald. And then next up to end of the set, we had Angrybird versus Samurai. Very, very interesting set to say the least, with Samurai coming out to a big lead very early on. But you know, Angrybird is Angrybird for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, this guy is like, Samurai was playing so well, like insanely well for the first like couple games, like literally shades of like Hakaru, just perfect parrying everything, just dealing with everything, like really frustrating Angrybird. The way he was just like, I will check anything you do, but I won't really be aggressive myself. And I think it worked for a time. and then Angrybird managed to adapt. And for me, like the big difference maker in this matchup is like, I don't know how else to describe it outside of like a, you know, killer instinct. You know, I feel like there are certain level, top level players. This is a phenomenon in Street Fighter 5 as well. There are certain players that they just opened you up more often. You know, they just knew, basically. They just know, maybe it's the psychology of it. They just know better. Like, they know what you're going to do before you even do.
Bro.
And I'm sure there's some, you know, stats between that. But yeah, this is, for me, the difference maker. Like, Samurai kind of didn't have that, right? He wasn't winning out the offense, like the offense, like situations. Whereas Angrybird, like, even though he was looking like he was playing worse and was losing neutral way more often, he just get the one hit he needed, and he'd just be able to close out the entire game off of that one hit.
Yeah, you heard the endemic sidelines when Angrybird started winning, right? They were like, yo, you're winning the neutral. Like, just chill out. You're winning the neutral. Telling Samurai he's winning the neutral. And like you said, a lot of the time he was. I really like that. He had the perfect parries on deck, as you mentioned. There were a couple of jumps after trades that he did, which I thought were really effective. There was like a trade, and then Angrybird immediately did a fireball, and he was able to jump punish that because of the jump after the trade. It was a lot of good decisions made. But I'm with you. The note I have down, the very last note I have down about this set is, overall, felt like Angrybird just won the strike throw and Oki situations more. That's legitimately how it felt.
And that was like the kind of play he was in Street Fighter 5 as well. Like, he just offensively just be better. Like, I don't know how to describe it. You know, he just get more mileage out of any hit because it leads into another hit, and he just know your tech timings. He'd read you offensively. And it just felt like Samurai was lacking that. Whereas if he could actually open up Angrybird as half as much as he was getting opened up himself, like, it would be so easy. Also, that drive rush right there, I think it was the first one he did at the set, and I think that's like that's why it worked. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there are certain options where if you just never use them, even though against a great player who is ready for them, like if you just never used it and you bring it out in like the last moment, you can catch people off guard like that, which I really liked from Samurai. It's like you're saving it, you know? It's like you're going all out just this once and they're not ready.
Yeah, and it felt like there was so much that Samurai was doing well. I felt like he maybe didn't use Sandblast in the neutral as much as he could have. That was like the only thing that I thought I didn't see a lot from him that I would have liked to see a little bit more. But we can see it here, right? Like, he's not afraid to use it, but it felt like he didn't use it as much as of a bully tool as it could have been, or like a wall to keep Angrybird from getting in, because that's as you highlighted at the beginning when he goes up 2-0, he's just being such a great wall, right? Like, every time Ken gets into a certain range that Luke can kind of prevent him from getting to by pressing an option, whether it be a button or a sandblast or what have you, he does it, and he seems to do it every single time consistently right. And then after those first two games, Angrybird just figures out, like, if I can squeak in an offensive sequence here or there without getting stuffed, I'll be able to ride that one hit to the rounds. I mean, that's just what he does, because right here in these first two games, Samurai, like, we saw that crouch medium kick, like, he just had so many answers ready.
Even like if you jump back a few seconds, I think it's 56:05. Like, look at this bit. You know, there's no punk footsie clip of the day, but if I had to pick a moment right here, it would be this one. Little battle of the low forwards. You know, the little micro walk up and then micro walk back right at the last set. Oh my!
That was nasty.
That's enough.
Like,
that's too much. That was too much. Like, the tiniest walk back right at the last second. Oh, it's just incredible stuff, honestly. And like, you know, you see that and you're like, wait, this guy didn't win the set?
yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
It just felt like he was doing things so well. But Angrybird, he's, I think, ahead of the pack a lot of the time when it comes to optimal, like, getting optimal damage given the situation. And I don't even just mean combos. Like, this man, to iterate what I'm talking about here, he's got a classic thing that he likes to do here, if we could skip ahead a little bit in this, which is the, like, I'm gonna do stand light kick on block into drive impact, like, or on hit, like, right? He's so good at utilizing these things. Like, it's like stand light kick, crouch medium kick, I think we see to end the set, where he gets them on hit, interrupting or using them as punishes, and then he just goes into drive impact when you're at the corner. Even when it's not gonna combo, he knows he's gonna get the combo because of the wall splat. Punk is like, bro, are you serious right now? But
Punk laughing, man. He's just like that was like the max range DI. It was so sad.
Like, he couldn't believe the wall splat actually came through. But that's what he does, man. And, like, again, to win the set, right? Like, we can go back if you got other things you want to point out. But, like, again, to end the set, he does the same thing. He gets the level 3 here, puts on the pressure. Samurai puts out a button. Yeah, look, whiffs the throw, just immediately crouch medium kick into the drive impact. Not a real combo, but guess what? Stunned up. You're not going to be ready to counter that in time, and you just die.
Yeah, I mean, most people are going to be like, when you're in burnout, you'll be mashing stuff on block. Like, you'll be mashing stuff, you know, buffering stuff, I should say. But you're rarely going to be buffering stuff on hit, you know what I mean? So
yeah, and it's
like gonna work the most.
And it's one button into hit. Like, he doesn't even give you the time to register that you got hit before the drive impact comes out. You know, like it's like, so good. Nobody's
just mashing super there, like on hit, you know, no matter what. So that's why it works. I mean, some people, if you were, you know, not in burnout, we've talked about it slightly, but like, it's a good idea to actually like mash DI on hits, because if they drop the combo, you might actually punish what they dropped, especially against someone like Luke. But you know, in this case, not really. When you're in burnout, it's just so much harder to do the super.
Yeah, I said Samurai went up 1-0. Was it? It ended up being a 2-2 set, right? Or was it 3-1? Am I tripping? It was just the first game. I guess it was just the first game. I thought it was 2-0 Samurai. But yeah, this was definitely one where Samurai, I thought, played super well. But again, like, Sky Punk's laughing just at this stand-line kick drive impact. I thought Samurai played super well.
What a way to lose the game.
Yeah, in the set. But I think as we both came to the conclusion, it was just the hits that Angrybird got. He was able to kind of snowball those into more and more hits. And then right there, valiant effort from Samurai. I have that noted down as well, where he tried the drive impact, but it was the heavy Jinrai, so it recovers really quick, allowing him to DI back. It was a tough break from there. It led to a lot of damage.
Against like medium and light, or is it just like light?
Yeah, like, so like if it, wait, say that again?
So the Jinrai, can you DI the light or medium versions off of Stand Fierce, or
yes,
is that just neither? Okay, you can.
It should be light or medium, if I recall correctly. It was just the heavy one that if you're like not in time, you're gonna get blown up. Yeah.
Okay.
So good stuff to Angrybird again. I thought Samurai played really well. It was just, I mean, like you said, the killer instinct. He has no joke, a force to be reckoned with. Evo champ for a reason. And yeah, I mean, when he smells blood in the water, he's gonna keep on letting it flow. So we had next Red Rooster versus Bandits, right? We had Mono versus Caba, excuse me, to start it off. If I'm not mistaken here, yeah. Which was a good one. We had the DJ versus the Guile, right? Caba, just, you know, I feel like he's been playing Guile for too damn long. There was a moment here, where was this? 122.57. Yeah, it's coming up at the beginning of this match here, where I was just like, why do you have charge, bro? I think it was like he does like a jump in. Yeah.
Like, bro, my guy just jumped. I mean, I get it. You just hold down when you're playing Guile.
For sure.
You can't do anything else. But it's one of those where it takes you a while to get really used to that as Guile. So especially that must have been like, you know, essentially, you know, frame perfect
with the charge time.
Yeah, because the jump duration's only like 42 frames or something, right? So, you know, he lands and then immediately flash kicks.
It was so good. I was like, man, this dude is ridiculous. But overall, to me in this set, it just felt like Caba was a step ahead. Like, he had a better idea of how the interactions were going to play out.
Yeah.
He cost himself a couple of times going for DIs, but understandable against DJ, right? Yeah. DJ has a lot of DI-able things, but he did get caught and got DI counterbacked a couple of times.
Worth trying, and I think against a lot of other DJs it would have probably worked, but Mono just doesn't use the medium Sabat a lot in neutral. Like, medium Sabat actually is really good at sniping out booms, like especially in, you know, if you're minus as the DJ and you think they're going to throw a boom as like instead of using like a poke, you just do the medium Sabat and it'll just snipe the startup like 90% of the time. And that's what you saw a lot. Like, Caba would be like maybe +2 from like a, you know, situation, then he'd DI and expecting like, you know, the medium Sabat, and it just would never come. So
yeah, precisely. So we understand it, right? Trying to snipe out those Sobats, trying to snipe out these other things, the crouch medium kicks or whatever have you that are uncancelable from DJ, but it never really came. But it didn't cost Caba too much, right? Again, I just felt like he was always ready for stuff. It felt like Mono let a couple of things slip through the cracks, right? Like when you talk about the bazooka knee off the drive rush when it's too close, it's like 0 and you can press on it. We didn't really see Mono attempt that. There was a really close drive rush bazooka knee that he just let Guile kind of continue the pressure on. So it felt like Caba was just a bit more practiced in the matchup, just a little bit ahead from what I could tell.
I think this is a certain matchup we've talked about a lot, so don't want to like reiterate points that we've mentioned. This is actually a matchup that we've seen a lot of, to be fair.
Yeah.
Obviously with Nuckledu and Caba both being the guard players, and there's a lot of DJ players in the league. So it's like a lot of the matchup specific things, how it's always interesting to see how different people want to play it. I think Mono's had the right idea a lot of the time. I think at the end, PR Balrog's like giving him some advice, and it kind of worked, but I think it also kind of didn't, you know, because Mono got in his own head about it, I think. So we'll get to it towards the end. I think there's a really good moment from Mono at like 125.50.
Okay.
Which is, coming up pretty soon. But yeah, or is it Caba? Oh, I think it's Caba actually. But yeah. There's obviously a certain range where you just do the heavy air slasher as DJ, and it's very punishable, but at a certain range, obviously it's just not. So he feels really comfortable going from it at that exact range. But if you go back and you look at what Caba does, he does like this tiniest walk forward and then jumps after this. Look at that, and that's literally all the range he needed to get into a range of that heavy kick, and that is like that's the difference maker. Oh, it was like, and that's what won him the round, right? The timeout. It was so clean, I have to say. Yeah, I mean, he could have definitely done a better combo, but you know, we won't stress about that.
yeah, exactly. But knowing, right, that walk forward is the difference maker. That's a great eye. I didn't catch this when I was going over it. Yeah, that walk forward into the jump over, that gives him just enough range to hit that. Because look how far away it hits, bro. Right, like he jumps without that walk forward, and that button is whiffing. So definitely super well calculated from Caba there. All right. To get into the next one, because that's all about what I have to say about this matchup, unless you got something else to say. Because like you said, we've been over this one quite a bit.
Yeah, like I said, I guess I'll touch on the advice PR Balrog gave, which was like, I think it was towards, I think it was in this round. And he's basically like, Mono's got like low on drive gauge. And, you know, basically PR Balrog's like, hey, stop going in, just chill out, like wait for your drive gauge to regen. And at that time, yeah, he absolutely did need to chill out because you need your drive gauge back. And then he kind of just keeps doing that for the rest of the rounds, even when he's got his drive gauge back. And then he doesn't have the life lead, so Caba's just sitting full screen throwing booms at him, and then Mono's just waiting full screen, just doing heavy air slasher. Yeah. And then the time is just ticking down, and then eventually, you know, he gets hit by a couple booms because I think Caba just got a nice reads with the OD booms a lot. And then he just moves around from there, and it was pretty tough. Like here, he was backing off, and then he starts to like back off again, and it's just not the range you want to play. Like again, you want to be at range where that OD air slasher is a big risk, as a bigger threat. And yeah, because the OD boom can actually snipe out your startup, whereas your OD will never hit Guile from this range.
Yeah. And that's why Caba was just like content right there, right? He's like, I got plenty of time to parry your OD air slasher from that range. Like, not worried about it. Yeah, he's got the Sonic Blade as well. And yeah, you mentioned it was the OD booms, being able to snipe him out for a couple of bits. It's just like, what do you do now, right? Like, especially with this spinach right here on the OD air slasher again from Mono, then you're really low on the drive gauge. Like, I think it was right here, right? Yeah, now it's like your next gambit has to be correct or the game's like so far out of reach. It was a tough position to be in, and I mean, Caba was just so damn precise. I love that whiff punish too. That's the weakness of Stand Fierce, right? It does whiff on crouches from that range. We see it in display right there.
Yeah, that was like I said, it was a pretty good matchup. Caba is just like way too experienced, I think, in it. And you know, Mono's definitely had a tough time against it.
So then we had PR Balrog versus Xiao Hai as the next matchup in this Red Roosters versus Bandits. And I really like this first decision from PR Balrog. That's why I've already stopped it. Because he jumps, but he doesn't actually press a button because he sees Xiao Hai not commit to anything, right? 99-second round jump. that usually means the player is reading like a fireball, right? And it happens. People throw projectiles at 99 seconds all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
So I respect the jump it, but we talked about this in the past, right? How you need to visually confirm that the person on the ground is pressing a button, because if they're not, a lot of the time they're just gonna walk forward. And this is usually on cross-up jumps where people are trying to cross up out of the corner, or jump out of the corner, I should say. They'll walk forward and then punish your landing frames, right? Because you pressed the button in the air, vulnerable landing frames, they didn't commit to anything. So the fact that Rog did this, and he did visually confirm that Xiao Hai did nothing, so he was like, all right, well, I'm not going to do anything. And then he's able to block on landing with the anti-air DP attempt.
Wow.
If he presses the button here, those landing frames are getting DP'd. Like, that's punish counter DP.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, I love the empty jumper a lot. And like, it's kind of an interesting one as well, because technically, if you think you're going to get anti-air, you just shouldn't press a button anyway, because if you get punish countered, you take more damage. So like, it's just optimal in all the sense of the word, because sometimes you will get lucky and you will get those punishes like that.
That was so good from PRI. I really just love the way that opened up. But I thought Xiao Hai was looking good in this matchup. Like, you know, he was Tatsu punishing the fireballs. He stand light kick punishes the Fuha right there. I thought he had a couple of good reads on the fireball patterns from Rog. Actually, I like even a timestamp from it. Let me see here with 1:32:10. Okay, that's a little bit ways away. But yeah, I thought he did good. But Rog, I think definitely had a couple of little things in the matchup. We saw the empty jumps and stuff like that is what I think let Rog ended up winning. And of course, a huge drop at the end, which we'll get to.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate thing that also happens in the set. I mean, for me, like, it's just I don't know. PR Balrog just looked way cleaner. Like I said, he didn't have that like unfortunate drop at the end. And there's that one reaction super, which I'm sure we'll see as well. He just looks really comfortable in this kind of matchup. And I don't think there's too much to say, like any specific moments that I had. The only thing I did want to point out is that this match made me realize why Dragon Lash is so dumb. Again, I've come full circle. I'm like, yeah, maybe it is dumb. But also it's because I saw it so many times in this set, it hits from like the tip of the range of the boot. And then he's still in throw range because he has like infinite forward momentum. So he's always next to you after he does it. And it's just like, oh, even if it's in the max range, he's still next to me. Didn't feel right. It doesn't feel right.
That is definitely the privilege that move has, 100%. And I said there was good reads on the fireballs for now. From Xiao Hai. I actually meant it from PR Balrog. I got confused with the way I read my notes. Because like you said, he had the level 3 in response later on. He DIs the fireball here, right? This was a bit of a scary drop. This is actually the timestamp I had on the good read on the fireball.
Okay, yeah.
It was because like he DIs it here. We see a jump punish on the fireballs. Like he really had the right reads on Xiao Hai's fireball game. And yeah, I mean, he tries to drive rush again. He doesn't go with the whiff cancel, so he ends up burning himself out, but it's okay. But yeah, I thought Rog just looked super clean, had great reads on the fireballs. That's, I think, what made huge differences in the damage output of the game. He had the importance of empty jumping. We saw him as soon as the set started. We see, I think, Xiao Hai try to jump out later, jump out of the corner. Let me see if I have this. Yeah, 135.04. We can go back. But just to get what I'm talking about here, like we see the Tatsu punish from him here.
Nice.
And then, look, this is the importance of empty jumping out, right? Like, again, he's able to block on the ground. So, like, Rog was just so clean, as you said. It seemed like he definitely was more comfortable in the Street Fighter 6 side of things, while Xiao Hai, it just felt like he was kind of trying to rely on him being a great fighting game player to really get him through this.
Yeah, like, I think for me as well, like, I feel like obviously as jury, fireballs are annoying as hell to deal with because you don't have any amazing jump ins to like go over the top of them. Your dive kick kind of sucks, and then it stops all your drive rushing. It stops your normals. It will stop your stocking. And I feel like knowing that, PR Balrog's kind of like he's kind of trained himself to deal with fireballs in his own ways, which is right here with that level 3.
So good.
It's just like he wasn't buffering it really. He was just anticipating it, right? He does the backdash and he's like, well, if he fireballs here, like I've got him, you know, and that's exactly what happens. And it's just so sick to see that from PR Balrog.
Yeah, so definitely a clean play from Rog, man. And this is the drop we were talking about at the end here. That usually is supposed to link the punish counter stand fierce into crouch medium kick. I don't know what ended up happening. I guess he just did it a frame too late. Cost him the game and let Rog run away with a 2-0.
Yes, well earned, well earned. I think Xiao Hai didn't look very happy about that. It is definitely one of the worst feelings I have to say. I think Vicious points out it's the ultra slow headset takeoff. That's when you know that they ain't happy with that. They're like,
yeah, oh,
man, I gotta stand up, bro. Like, oh, that's painful.
He even looks at Raw like the set's over. Though, like there's like a little bit of yearning in his eyes right here, where he's like, bro, yeah, like the look up here. He's like, bro, it's really over. It. Yeah, like,
so don't worry, bro. Get back on. We'll play it again.
Yeah,
that didn't count. Oh.
So definitely the big ups to Rock. I love the fireball reads throughout the set. And then we had a battle of the Titans, bro. BananaKen and MenaRD. This is, I think, by far the most notes I have was from this matchup. Just my goodness, bro. Nuckledu and NL actually came pretty close.
Actually, yeah, me too.
Yeah, Nuckledu and NL came pretty close. But man, there's just these two, like we talked about. MenaRD, obviously one of the best players in the world here. BananaKen. I mean, we've kind of, I think I've labeled him MVP. I think you've kind of agreed with that as well. Like, he's just been MVP of SFL because he's a guy that we didn't have a lot of intel on in Street Fighter 6 coming into SFL, and he's been consistently put up against the other team's best player, and more often than not, he's come away with the dub. It looked like he was going to come away with the dub again against MenaRD, but that killer instinct, bro. Some of these players,
it really is.
You just can't get the W on them.
Yeah, it's close. I mean, to be fair, like I was looking at the stats just then, and yeah, BananaKen has a better win rate right now than MenaRD. Got more points than him too. So you know what, this guy, like I say, I think he's only lost one set so far. So the guy's looking so good, and he started out so good as well. Yeah. But that's the problem with MenaRD, man. He adapts, and he's also got the character changes, which should really help him out as well.
So. This is another, like, literally first decision made. I wanted to talk about it, just like the last game. So I want to go back and start looking at round starts with JPs because I want to see how often do they immediately commit to a projectile when they see the opponent walk back at round start. Because, right, Mena does, like, a slight walk back, and then he jumps, right? Like, and he kind of is already committing to the jump before he sees any projectile, right? This seems to me like definitely a thing where he's like, I'm showing you a couple of frames of walking back. While you register the fact that I'm walking back, that's going to encourage you to throw a projectile and then jumps the projectile, right? Like, yeah. So I want to see how often do the JP, specifically BananaKen, obviously, will throw a projectile when he sees the opponent starting to walk back at round start. I wonder if that was like kind of a practiced read.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's hard to know if you're really reacting at that point, but at the same time, because it is just a few seconds after round start, you're immediately like, you're super alert around start to react to anything. Yeah. And then you kind of, if you see someone doing nothing, you immediately like switch off, even if it's just for a moment, and you like autopilot, I feel like.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those situations. This is another point that I had that I wanted to bring up. I love that players are starting to do things like jump back air to air to keep the corner rather than just like punishing people with a crosscut DP and letting them out of the corner, right? If you're going to kill them with it, for sure. But in a situation like this where you still got a half a life bar that you got to work through and you're in burnout, jumping back.
Especially when you're in burnout.
Yeah. Jumping back air to air to keep the corner. This was so smart from Mena.
Yeah, but this is like the danger of putting yourself in burnout against JP, though, is that, hey, you make that one mistake. He basically missed that punish, used the drive rush, and then look, the round's basically over at this point, unless you want to wake up level 1, which I guess is kind of your only option here. Would have worked as well, but I mean, after he lands that heavy kick meaty, like, you're getting chipped out there, so it almost doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure that overhead would have, even if you blocked it, it would have just linked into another crouch jab, into another OD, into, it's so much chip. So, like, that's kind of the thing. The jump back jab did work, but it kind of just gave space to BananaKen to just set up OD departure. Yeah. And then immediately he's like, oh, well, all I have to do is block here because the spikes will cover me. And then he can, like, even if he blocked this one, he could just teleport out to the other one and he's out the corner. Yeah, that's a great point, honestly. Like, great recognition from BananaKen in this situation to immediately set up OD departure. Like, right, he lands, immediately sets it up. Now he knows, even while being cornered, he's still really the one controlling the situation. I like the throw attempt from Mena, right? He's trying to avoid the spikes, trying to avoid the cinematic as they come out, just not in range. And I mean, you know, that results in what it resulted in. Like you said, pretty much the round being over. We see the on-hit reset here. And I love the way he ends the round too. He never gets thirsty for the drive impact. Like you said, as soon as you block this, you're done. Because he's going to
target combo into the projectile. You try to level 1 between that gap. The projectile is eating your level 1, right? You're not going to be able to actually do that because it's not projectile invul. And he just puts the overhead ghost on him at the end as well. So smart, man.
Biggest strength about JP is like if you burn out in the wrong position against this guy, a lot of people can obviously put you in checkmate situations, but you've always like can do something, whereas like JP will really like actually make it so you can't do anything.
Yeah. So one of those true checkmate situations. I mean, I think we see that in DCQ versus VxBao later on as well, where like DCQ just lets the OD departure burn out VxBao while he just looks at him in the corner, and it's like, bruh, like there's literally nothing to do. But
it definitely is pretty tough.
The next timestamp I have here is coming up shortly after the Super. It's at 1:38:35. I believe it is the classic. Oh, Luke has his own sway. Yeah, it was this right here. Yeah, the classic drive rush HP flash knuckle. Nice crouch medium punch, jackass. Like.
But yeah, I mean, obviously it was a bait there, so that's why there's no. Also, I'll pause it right there. We ain't letting him get away with that one. We ain't gonna let him get away. He did wake up OD command grab. Let's not. He's like, oh, right. Nobody saw that, right? Like, luckily nobody saw that. No, we saw that. You ain't getting away with that. Don't worry, it comes back around as well. It comes back around. It's not the first time he tries it, but that's the BananaKen special. But it doesn't work out this time. But yeah, I think the bait from obviously MenaRD is kind of the classic. But again, he got away with so many heavy flash knuckles without level 3 on stock. So I'm just like, when are people going to start DIing this? It's annoyed me.
It's true, yeah. People definitely got to start DIing it. It's just one of those moves where, excuse me, that I think. Because like the charge version, and that's a lot of time what you deal with on block, like people don't have it as a very DIable move because it's like it doesn't have a lot of punishable frames on block, right? So they don't really, it's not a move that registers as a move with a lot of recovery. And a lot of those moves with a lot of recovery are the ones that you get DI. So like on block, even though it has a lot of recovery, there's not that many like minus frames when you actually block.
I know what you mean.
Charge. So like I think that's why it doesn't click in people's heads that it's a very DIable move. But if it doesn't make you block, that thing's got years of recovery, so you could DI it for days. So I'm with you. I think it's definitely something we're gonna be starting to see soon. But because of the fact that it doesn't have like a lot of punishable block stun frames, I just think it's not clicking with people at the moment.
Yeah, and it's just like, again, a lot of people at this top level just completely will never use DI, like apart from when your opponent's in burnout, because it's just one of those things where it feels like a noob trap, so you don't really think of it's like, even if you can react to something, it feels like you should even try.
And I love the way he picked apart MenaRD in the corner here, just with the jabs, bro. Like, he was just like, jab, 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 just harass, jab. And then the ghost, once I get put into a jab range where the DP is actually not going to connect on me. Like, come on, man. This guy like BananaKen.
This must be like the only fireball in the game without an extended hurt box forward, man. Like, that is crazy.
Wild stuff, man. Wild stuff to see right there from Mr. BananaKen. I just love the way he played this. And of course, this is when we saw MenaRD go to the Blanca. Right here. Yeah, I pulled out the Blanca.
I do like Blanca. I think it's pretty good in the JP. Like, you know, it's probably still even, just like it would be like it was Luke. But I feel like he's just like got a bit more of an X factor. That moment right there, I learned something new today. Blanca hop is immune to throws. I mean, it's technically airborne, but if you see it, you'll see the tech animation coming in from BananaKen. And it did autocorrect, so he was definitely facing the right way. But I guess he's just airborne during the Blanca hop. This is definitely some specific tech.
So yeah, on super combo, it says that forward hop is throw invul straight up from 12 to 22 on the frames. So yeah, like you said, he tries to throw right there, but it was just during the time where that move is straight up throw invul, so he gets the punish counter recovery on the throw, baits out the OD amnesia afterwards. But yeah, man. This was the amnesia commitment round for BananaKen. I respected that.
Like, once you do one, you may as well do the other. Caba going absolutely crazy in this round, I remember. I think I'll get onto it later, but I think that's the secret to Bandit's power. Is like, MenaRD, he doesn't wear a headset. It's just so he can hear Caba screaming at him, and that powers him up, you know?
Yeah.
It must do.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, the power up from Caba is honestly next level. It always has been, always will be. And I think you kind of nailed it on the head with why Mena doesn't tend to wear a headset. But is this the time step I have here? Is this the one? Yeah, I think this was a wild into this round. It's getting into that round, but I basically have just wild into this round, and it starts up.
What?
Well, yeah, like
I know exactly what round.
Yeah.
I've got a lot to say about it.
So there's so many things that happen at like the end of this one specifically, I think it is, that I'm just like, what's happening, bro? Right now, BananaKen obviously doing a great job. He did check a lot of the Blanca balls, crouch medium punch, or at least he tried to. But then, yeah, we pop off here, right? Lightning Beast, we get the OD Amnesia, we get the parry, we get the drive impact through the projectile. Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah, it's something new as well. Like, it's just a way of dealing with that situation, which is definitely counterable by the JP player, but you're not always gonna be ready for it. It's just a new situation. And this round, man, I mean, look, when I keep saying this, right? But when BananaKen wins rounds, sometimes you don't know why it happens, and this is one of those rounds. We'll let it play out in full, but
100%. And then this is right here, right? -4 because of the burnout. Unfortunately, Blanca's jab is 5 frames. When you stand, you have to use stand light kick, so no punish there. That was a very, very.
And he gets a second chance.
Yeah,
and he still doesn't punish it.
Oh my god!
And then he just lets BananaKen do jump back level 2. There's no way he couldn't punish him here. By the way, there's no way you can't. Like, I don't know why he just press anything. Anything will hit him surely in the recovery. But he just jumped back. This is what I'm gonna call the Great Banana League of 2023, bro. Like. What happened this round, man? Oh my, everyone messing up big time. And then, it's just that situation. At some point, both of these guys are in neutral. Like right here, none of them are in hit stun. And then because BananaKen thinks the last ghost is gonna hit him, so does MenaRD. They're just staring at each other. It's just hilarious.
Oh, that's why I paused it right here, right? Because like this last piece of the super.
Oh my gosh!
I didn't mean for it to pause right here, but I meant to pause so we could see the ghost going this way, and it's just like, bruh, like they definitely all expected that last ghost to connect, and then it's like what? And then they're just in neutral. BananaKen just presses stand fierce, doesn't even go with something that combos off of it, just command grab. Like what in the world, bro? And then Angrybird, bro. Angrybird damn near falling out of his seat. Like
that was a round of Street Fighter. This woke me up, man. I was like, oh, okay, we're playing. I was like, what the hell just happened? But I mean, that's just a BananaKen, bro. Whenever he plays this, I love watching this guy play. There's always a round just like that. I don't know why.
How is this all happening here? This little departure right here. I love the okay, I guess it was after this. Yeah, this one. Yeah, I love the jump forward here, honestly, after the departure. Just because you saw Blanca dash forward, right? So he doesn't have charge for Blanca ball. So it's not like one of those situations where the Blanca ball is going to be coming or anything like that. He kind of is caught in a vulnerable moment. If he's going to avoid that departure, since he can't do it with Blanca ball, he'll probably jump. And then we have the air-to-air from BananaKen. So I like that little moment.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool thing. Obviously, you still gotta be careful. Even if he doesn't have it up ball, he could roundhouse your ass. But also, like, because he just dashed, he probably wouldn't have the frames to get out in time before like a jump heavy kick came in.
Agreed. Now, so I bring up this moment to build upon a later moment where you see the drive rush crouch medium punch, and I'm like, damn, son, Mena really just let him do that. But you kind of have to, because crouch medium punch is so unmessed with the bull that a lot of the times when you try to check it, it doesn't end up working out. And then I saw like just a few seconds later here, at around 34, we see that exact thing demonstrated, right? Drive rush. Oh, he tried the check, counter hit with the crouch medium punch.
Owie.
Oh man, that hurts. And then there was like a moment later on that I was like, okay, I see what Mena, the next level of this is, right? Where Mena begins, I believe, jumping in response to this. We see it here. Yeah. Like, he tries the drive rush crouch medium punch, and he's just like, I'm holding up forward, bro. I'm not going to play this, like, crouch medium punch hitting my check button game anymore. And, I mean, he catches the crouch fierce. So, I really like people starting to develop that strategy where they see drive rush buttons that are really hard to check. They're just starting to jump away from them or jump forward, neutral jump. A lot of these things to just not play that mind game.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I think that's something I like to see. Like similar to DJ and his like sway nonsense. Like the answer's there. You literally just hold like up forward, and there's nothing DJ can do because his antis are kind of bad, unless he's just gonna hold down back. But not what DJ's gonna do. So like, yeah, it's a similar thing where it's like, I can't beat this thing, but it's like you can just avoid the situation entirely, and sometimes you still do get the punish, like we just saw.
Man, okay, and then I went back because I have this moment that I wanted to bring up that I'm like, sometimes MenaRD is just like so psychic, and I'm like, how did he know the down forward heavy punch was coming, right? Like obviously from this range, you like are a little bit of expecting it, but the timing that he pulls this off with is ridiculous. Like, this button low crushes on a 10 to 20 frames. This doesn't low crush till the 10th frame of the move. So like his timing was so immaculate here, bro. Like we see it later on, and it actually gets stuffed because like I say, it takes 10 frames for it to low crush. The timing of this was bonkers for it to dodge that.
Yeah, he was just like, this is coming now. I don't know why. I guess it could have also been a low forward timing. He probably would have smoked that as well. Yeah. But yeah, just why not? Wild nail. Shame he missed the combo. That would be a lot cooler. But
for sure,
tries the DI again. But actually burns out BananaKen because he blocks the DI, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, man, it's really interesting to see like just sometimes how psychic he is. And there was a moment too that I forgot that I wanted to highlight right here, where he anti-airs this neutral jump from so far away. Like, look at that, bro.
Oh my, yeah.
What? What?
What? I mean, I know it's jump medium punch, so it does have an extended hitbox, but still, roundhouse, man. What was it, 10 active frames or something silly like that?
Yeah, I think it's 9 active frames, I believe. 7 frames stardom, 9 active frames. Yeah.
Yeesh. Big feet.
Yeah, man. That was really sick.
Yeah, and at this point, like MenaRD's just got all the offensive reads. Shit, like here he's spent a bar we didn't need to because he kind of did a bad combo, but you think he started with low forward, which is just like the worst starter. Yeah. But yeah, like he just had, I don't think after this point, like a single OD amnesia like really lands. And we know BananaKen does like to let it rip. There's a lot of JP players that like use the threat of the amnesia do half the work for them. Yeah. Whereas BananaKen's like I'm just gonna use it all the time. Yeah. I don't need to use the threat. I'll just use the move.
Yeah. I like the reward the move actually gives me rather than just threatening with it.
A lot of people do, like I watch JP players just die to throw over and over again. I'm just like, you guys know you got that move, right?
This is another moment I really liked. I think it's so important in this game, especially when you're at high level, to know the spacing on weird situations like this hit here, right? Where he ends up committing to the full Tara combo, he hits the overhead at the end, and it's neutral, right? You don't have a departure, you're not getting a combo off of it. Both players are going to be just free to act after this. And I think it's so important to know these for your character, like right here, right? He knows that from this spacing on this hit, that light ain't going to hit, baby. So he just lets the stand fierce rip. The light whiffs, he punishes it heavily. This was him knowing that those light buttons are going to be out of range. And that's what people usually kind of panic button with when they're not used to a situation. They'll try to go with something that they think is low commitment and fast. And he just knew.
Yeah, that's, well, I mean, the JP player should know a bit more. I feel like I've seen not many people actually use that like overhead ender to that TC, but BananaKen's definitely like seen just about everything he can with his character at this point. Yep.
Like, it's why I really just love the way like he kind of goes about so many things. And we talked about that drive rush crouch medium punch earlier and how much of a pest it is to kind of drive rush check, right? So we see like later on in the set as well, like he ends up getting away with drive rush. Look at how long he lets that drive rush rock in the crouch medium kick, because he's established so many drive rush crouch medium punches that you just let him do it because you don't want to press that button and get counter hit anymore.
He's also just like trying to react as well, trying to see what MenaRD wants to do. Because the last time, obviously, he's reacted to the drive rush with a jump. So he's like, let me wait just to see how he reacts. That's and then last second sees he's still grounded, low forward, big combos.
Like, it's so smart. Like the back and forth between BananaKen and MenaRD. Like these two are at the top of their game, man. This was a joyous set to watch. And I put this as real JP privilege here. The fact that he gets the combo off the jump back air to air. It was like, ugh.
Oh, yeah, I had
spike.
this one as well.
Yeah, into the kill.
That was...
I like that I did it. I called it JP privilege because, like, I think it's like right here. We see Blanca do it again, do the same thing. Yeah, and jump back into a combo.
Hey, he got something.
Yeah. Obviously
better
not
than
as big as a JP reward, but he got a combo off of a jump back button.
Yeah. Like I said, probably better than most. Like we saw Luke do it actually the first game of this set where he just got jump back jab. That was the best he could do.
Yeah, exactly right. So, and then this is that other moment where I talked about where I think he tries to forward heavy punch the JP down forward heavy punch again, but like I said, it takes till frame 10 to low crush. So we'll see it here. It just look like you see it doesn't immediately low crush or airborne. This was the button. If we go like frame by frame, you could see the startup of it. It is that button, but because it's not by the 10th frame, yeah, like he ends up getting hit.
Okay, that must be mad close.
Yeah, like man, that's why I was so impressed with that first one. I was like, wow, that timing was just a hard call out.
Yeah.
And then right here, this was a huge bet from MenaRD to hold parry on the Lightning Beast. I think it's coming up. I was very scared for him.
I know what you mean.
But my goodness, did it work
holding
out.
It, bro.
Like, I could
like
not
it,
believe
though.
it.
That's just, he does it a second time as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, why not? This is the power of holding it. Look at that. He gets like 4 free bars back like almost immediately.
Yeah, like, let's see.
It's crazy.
Before blocking that first Blanca ball, where is he at? Slightly below 2 bars, right? Yeah, slightly below 2 bars. And then by the end of the Lightning Beast sequence, look at that. I mean, he was a straight
back up to full.
Yeah, and that was after blocking something again, right? Like he was at 5.5 just before that moment. So it's a big bet because Lightning Beast, obviously he has these moments where he can go straight down, throw the parry attempt. Like Lightning Beast has ways to punish your parry attempts. So the fact that he was willing to big bet on that and just straight up hold the parry, that's where all that bonus comes in from, right? Because we see people will like tap parry over and over again in certain situations. We saw DCQ do that later in that VxBao mirror, but this, he was hold commitment and built so much drive meter back because of it. I thought that was a really impressive decision.
Yeah, it's always nice to see. And he tries it, doesn't work, but he did get punished. But yeah, it's just really cool to see, to be fair. Like the hold parry, that's one of my favorite things about this game actually, is like it's almost like this greedy thing, you know? I don't know how else to describe it, but it's a way of getting more of your resources, but it's kind of risky.
Yeah.
And all you do is hold down this button and then hope your opponent swings into it. And if they don't, well, yeah, you get kind of smoked. But if they do, like, you get so much. I'm definitely very guilty of holding parry way too much.
It's one of those things, right, where like it feels so good to get like that hold parry off. You feel like you have all the resources in the world afterwards, but yeah, like being disciplined with where you tap parry and the tapping it instead of holding it, I think it's a big thing that's separating like really great results from good results right now. This is another thing I wanted to bring up, was I love air ball in response to the teleport. I think that's such a cool option to do. Like
I don't know how he does this, or like what happens really here in terms of charging. I'm not really sure.
To be honest,
is he holding down forward? Like, I don't know actually.
Yeah, I can't clarify either. I just assume it's because of like the down input that he's able to up back and then still get like a down charge on the air ball or what have you. But like, I just like that because I don't know if that jump back, it was kind of a jump forward at the time, but like a jump back, like avoids the air bud. I gotta test that, but it feels like it would. And even if it doesn't, a lot of the time the JP players are landing with like immediate crouch light kick, immediate throw, something like that, right? That will just get blown up by an air ball. So I really like this answer from Mena there.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, it worked. So clearly it was something he was planning on doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think. I think is this the round? Yeah, I think this is the round where he obviously does that level 1, that level 2 earlier in the round, and then he just gets a second one as well. I'm like, oh my, this character, bro. It's like you know, Street Fighter 5, you got like 2v trigger activations in one game, but even more powerful. It's kind of crazy. I mean, how do you even beat double level 2s, man?
Yeah, exactly. And bro, I didn't know that even off of an air hit, he gets a fat combo here. I was like, word? Like,
this is so much damage, by the way. Like, you have no idea.
Like, JP is mid-air, bro. No counter hit, no force knockdown, no nothing.
Yeah, no nothing. What?
Nothing.
Wait, what? How? I guess it hits immediately into the Blanka-chan doll?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, it's so strange, right? Yeah, let's see, like, what is the second hit here?
Yeah, like, is it? Oh, it's the second hit of the OD Blanka ball, because he hits you the second time, doesn't he?
Okay, so that's what it is,
he rides
right?
you down.
So he
so you hit the ground, he hits you again.
And then that's the second hit, yeah.
And then the Blanka-chan gets activated,
yeah. Okay. That activates the Blanka-chan. So you juggle off of the air hit with just raw air ball, and then the Blanka-chan hits as you recover. Like, bruh. Man, they really, that was some privilege right there on that character. They made this Lightning Beast fucking
Lightning
super
Beast.
so good. Like, wow.
Yeah, it's cool to see. I do like having the interesting, like, strong level 2s. Definitely a bit over centralizing for some characters, I will say, because, like, how many times against Rashid are you in that second round, and you know at some point you have to just deal with that level 2. That was a like big complaint people had about V triggers, right? Is that it felt like rounds were very similar a lot of the time, because you'd have to deal with this thing at certain points of the game. But it's still like it makes a difference compared to just seeing, like, you know, Jury do level 3 every time, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really cool. It's a really cool addition. The characters that got it, I mean, like you said, it just lets them have so many dangerous moments. He finally does hit the BananaKen.
Finally hits it. He tried it 3 times. You know what? 33% chance is way better than I thought it would be.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I think you make a great point, because, like, let's say Blanka wins the first round, right? Then, like, he can activate level 2 so quickly usually in the second round. It's not even like this build up to level 3 that a lot of characters have. And then let's say it goes to round 3 without him spending that. He's got 3 bars going in round 3. He's just gonna immediately do a Lightning Beast, and then by the end of the round, he's gonna have another one. And it's like, oh, the advantage that allows. I definitely think that's why it's that's a big strength about this character, in my opinion, for sure.
Yeah, it like doesn't immediately get you value, but like the big value for me is that each one of the Lightning Beast Blanka balls does drive gauge damage on hit.
Oh, that's
so
a great point.
It stops your drive gauge regeneration, which is a big thing, and then it also just does drive gauge damage. So I think cumulatively it will do like 1 bar, but the main thing is it's stopping the regen. So like it does way more than you think. I also love at that moment in that last round, you hear PR Balrog go, anti-air, por favor. Like, he's like, please anti-air this guy. And then on the other side, you just hear Caba screaming, El Loco, El Loco. That's like the duality of man, you know? Yeah. Please just anti-air this beast. And then it's literally just Caba screaming, he's crazy. Like, the crazy man. It's so good.
Yeah, it really felt like Mena was just in complete control in this last game, you know? Like, it was just all him, both rounds.
Yep.
Just definitely huge stuff to Mena right there. Being able to bring it back from a 2-0 deficit and make it a dub for Bandits yet again. I mean, that's why many consider him the best in the world.
Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure after that the second game, not a single OD amnesia landed. Like, yeah. MenaRD just knew at that point. And BananaKen did stop using them as well. And then even in that last round, he does it again, and it gets baited again. So, yeah, just that killer instinct coming back.
The great reads. Sometimes somebody's just better on the 50-50 situations than you are, you know? All right, so
I'll really be upset about that.
Nah, it's just how it be sometimes. So for the last set of the day, we had UYU versus Vortex. Started with Dual Kevin versus Xian. And yeah, man, I really think Xian just, man, I don't know. I really love the balance of solid and crazy play from Xian. I think he's one of the best at doing that type of gameplay. Yeah. I think it's exemplified in this set specifically.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was quite impressed by Dual Kevin as well. Like, this is when I mentioned at the start of the show, like, people were getting better throughout the week. Dual Kevin's generally been one of those players where I'm like, oh, like, I'm actually excited to like see this guy play because I want to see how good he's gotten. And yeah, he's gotten very impressive. Like, he was super optimal this set. I mean, he ends up still losing. I think it's just Xian kind of, he does a really nice adaptation basically, where at the start there's a lot of Sandblaster and neutral, and then he like gets a few jump in punishes on the Sandblaster, and then Dual Kevin stops using it entirely, and then the fact that it's no longer there as an option, Xian starts using a lot more just calls and stuff because he doesn't have to worry about just calling into a Sandblaster.
Exactly.
So he gets so much more freedom in neutral, and at that point, it's only a first of 2, so Dual Kevin just doesn't really get the time to adapt back.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, my big note for this set is that I have lots of big jumps in game 2, round 2 from Xian, right? This was like this game 2 here where he just jumps so many Sandblasts, especially I think towards the end of the round here, where he just ends up deterring Dual Kevin from using that a lot of the time. And from there, he was just able to kind of dictate all of the pace that he needed, right? Sees the Sandblast there. He ends up getting DP'd, but...
A little anti, but...
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like,
you
it
don't
goes
care that
right
much.
back to the well. Yeah, and then again,
exactly.
right?
Oh.
Like, back to
at that point,
big
if you're
jumps.
Dual Kevin, you're like, okay, I gotta stop using Sandblaster.
Yeah.
Which is just like a good point. Like, yeah, you gotta stop using it. It's an over reliance of it, I think, is like kind of the issue.
Yes,
It's like
yes.
you're using it in place of other things you could be doing. So you could be using like stand medium kick there. You could be using other perks like stand medium punch. But he's like just defaulting to it, and Xian's just taking that to his advantage, and then that's when the just calls start coming in.
And it's like if we could combine the way Dual Kevin played in this set and the way Samurai played in his set, like that would be the perfect Luke, right? Like it was just like too much Sandblast from Dual Kevin, not enough from Samurai, but they did like all the other things right. And it was just like if we could get that rhythm of fireballs, then that's really the golden spot you want to be in. This I thought was so unfortunate because Dual Kevin stands up into the stand fierce. Like, this is a range where I think he would have been able to block it crouching.
Yeah.
And then he stands up into it, and it's on the later...
Literally stands up into the active frames. Like, it's already whiffed above him, and then he stands up.
So, so because of that, it's like 0 or +1, actually. So he tries to press after, but nah, it's Xian's turn because you stood up into it, unfortunately. And then like after that, like you said, it was really the just calls. I have that down as well, as that Xian got real sway happy at the end. You can see it right there as I'm just skipping through the video. So many sways, but even at the very end of the set, I was like, bruh, like he ended up doing so like oh yeah, this was the level 3. This is the one that kills. So like when he gets on the opposite side, I forgot how he get the jump over, right? He level 1s them. There was just sway here. Like, he goes up, sway.
I think he gets thrown here, he just wake up, sway.
Yeah, just wake up, sway again.
Why not? Like, it just works. Gets him out of danger. The throw's not got that much oki. And obviously, I think at that point, Dual Kevin needed to press jab, I guess. That would have worked. But it's just weird because you see your opponent sway back like that. And then because you're moving forward and they're moving forward at the same time, you actually close that distance way faster than you'd expect.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, but... Dual Kevin falls. I agree with you, though. I really like the way he's playing over the course of SFL. I think he's growing into a really strong player. Today's Xian, I think he's got just that bit of wild spice to him that can really make players uncomfortable, especially when he couples it with those big reads, right? Where he will just commit to a big read on your Sandblast, make you a really second guess throwing those, and he knows how to capitalize once he sees the opponent adjust their game plan. So Xian, the Evo champion in the past, he's definitely one of the best in the world as well. Next up, we had the mirror, the JP mirror, the VxBao versus DCQ. Let's get it popping here.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have too much to say about this set. It's tough. You know what? It's always the games at the end of SFL. I just have to let the least to like talk about, because at this point I'm like writing on my notes. I'm just like I don't know what to look for at this point because I've already pointed out so many things. But obviously this is the set where we saw that big empty jump or punish on the crouch Fias from JP, which happens a bit later on.
Yeah, and just to bring it up, pretty much anybody I've ever heard do analysis where they sit down and try to break down fighting games or whatever have you, after a while, your brain is fried, bro. I don't care who it is. Every person that I've ever talked to that does stuff like this, your brain is fried after a couple of hours of doing this. So it's hard when we're sitting here trying to dissect as much as we're trying to dissect. By the end of the VOD, we're a little bit drained, right? So like you said, a lot of stuff has already been covered. Absolutely. We're just trying to pick out the big things by the end of this. So this is one of the things I did highlight, though. I have a round start from DCQ. Yeah, just so good at manipulating his opponent, right? Like immediately, this is a classic JP little gambit here. You do the ghost feint, the opponent parries. They see that it's a feint, so they try to drive rush in, and he's just like, I'm jumping, bruh.
Yeah, like we talked about that a lot. Obviously, you know, it was a good response to drive rush in general, like, because it is tough. Like, even if you drive rush and are ready to be able to position the anti-air so it actually hits your opponent when you've got that much forward momentum is like ludicrously difficult, to be fair, unless you got an auto-correcting like DP, which, you know, JP doesn't have. So
yeah, so I really like that from DCQ. DCQ, in my opinion, in this set, he just showed that he knew like these little situations so much better than everybody else. Like this situation right here, right, where we get the perfect parry on the landing of the fireball, right? I think when people see that they perfect parried something, they usually assuming it's their turn. So VxBao, he tries to drive rush right in after perfect parrying that. DCQ's like, no, bro. Like, I know the frame data in all these situations. Whether you're perfect parrying or not, I'm not letting you get any turns where you don't deserve one.
Yeah, and it's like he knew as well. Like, he knew, like, oh, he's probably going to perfect parry this because he's a JP player. So, you know, the timing on the ghosts is a little bit easier for them. And then he's just waiting. He's like, oh, okay, you perfect parried. I'm just going to press my crouch beat him because you're probably drive rushing.
Yeah. I don't think I have the timestamp for that crouch fierce, the empty jump on it. So when it comes up, let me know, because I don't think I have the timestamp down. I do remember the moment, but I don't have the timestamp down. I do have this timestamp down here, where I like this round in general, because I thought it was very interesting the way DCQ kind of played it, because he goes for a lot of tap parry in this round, right? Which I think is an admirable strat. I think that's how you really should play against JP a lot of the time, so you don't get your drive meter just bullied down, because like he'll throw out the stand fierce, he'll throw out all these buttons that do heavy drive gauge chip, and you want to tap parry here and there to make sure that you maintain as much as possible. So we see that a lot from DCQ, right? Like, he keeps trying to tap parry in this round. Because, like, we were like 7 seconds in, and I was like, why does he have 1 bar of drive meter? Like, I was like, he didn't even do anything.
What?
But it is all these, like, tap parries that he tap parries there.
Tap parry.
Tap parry there. Tap parry there.
Tap parry there. Oh, my God. My guy wants that perfect parry.
Yeah, so there was
I can't believe he spent, like, it was about 3 bars on just tap parrying.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's where it went. Okay, so that was also, I think, just interesting to see, even though they never really worked out. I thought it was all interesting. But the way he handles being in burnout after in this round, I was just like, this dude is too good, man. Like, he goes into burnout with the OD amnesia, and he knows his VxBao very low on it as well, right? So I think he ends up burning out VxBao in the process, but the way he's just able to side switch immediately and then keep control, right? Not committing to anything. Look at it, just the anti-airs. You're getting locked in this corner. Now you're in burnout again. Like, I'm not going to let you escape for free. Then he just lets the OD departure start doing the work.
And
then
that's
the
over
chip.
now.
Like, I was like, this dude is so calculated, man.
I just realized that, like, JP can actually, like, ghost while a ghost is on screen. I don't know why. Like, he can OD ghost while there's still an OD ghost hitting you. I'm like, what?
That's
I mean, cheap. I know he could do, obviously, the 2 ghosts, but yeah, that is cheap. Very, like, breaking the rules right now.
Exactly. Like,
Two
that's
projectiles
usually
on screen.
Yeah,
that's my double booms on screen, bro. Good luck.
Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly. Like, that's just not something that comes up a lot, man. I love this here as well. Again, this is what we were talking about. Like, these players are just starting to, they see the drive rush from JP. I'm jumping, bro. I'm not playing with this crouch medium punch. And yeah, right there, right? The empty jump. You see the crouch fierce come out. He didn't stick out a button to get hit by it. Easy punish on the landing.
You can tell it's intentional, of course, because he doesn't, like, he immediately knows the punish. He's like, jab, just to confirm I get the whiff punish, and then immediately into that stand medium kick to the combo. Like, it's like their number one way of being like, oh yeah, he was ready.
Yeah, that is so good from DCQ. Like, layering his options consistently in this matchup. I thought he looked so good in this set. And then the only last timestamp I have really is here, where he lets the he does the level 3, and then he just lets the departure do the burnout. He's like, put the snap up, just walk back, burnt out. You're done.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
that's the only thing. Basically, your only job right there, if you're DCQ, is just don't get hit, and then he's burnt out. Unless he can perfect parry both of them, which good luck.
So great stuff from DCQ. I thought he looked so strong in that mirror, just so aware of how every situation would play out, and the frames, who had the advantage even in weird situations. expecting, like his expectations were so correct. The way he anticipated a fellow JP player to go about the match.
Exactly.
Like, oh man, he was just so great in this set.
Yeah, he was just like, he's you but better, you know?
That's legit, like it was one of those. It was one of those for sure. And then
it never really felt like VxBao could find any real footing in that matchup.
Yeah, it didn't, like, straight up. Like, he wins a round in that game too, but like even it felt like one of those rounds where DCQ felt like he knew he was up, so he started taking a little bit more risks, and then once we got to an even round, he just went back to work, the clinical work that he's known for. And then to end the day, we had Nuckledu versus NL. I thought it was another pretty sick set here, so let's get to that one.
Yeah, this one was very good actually.
Let me see here.
As a matchup that is like relatively annoying for Guile, and we'll see why. Like as the set progresses, it's definitely Sandblaster is a pretty good tool to deal with booms. OD1's obviously very fast. One of the few OD projectiles that can just punish a boom from like full screen, and that can give you a lot of value, like right there. And obviously we see a lot of level 1s like starting off already on a strong foot, and now just like did not miss a beat these level 1s. I think one of them actually did get hit out by a boom, but this is the first point I did want to bring up is like actually I love how much Nuckledu uses just regular dashing. Like I love that walk up for one. If you go back a little bit, so this walk up, he just gets knocked down the corner. The first thing he does, wake up, I'm gonna walk forward like a bunch. It's like it's incredibly smart. I like it a lot because like if you know your opponent's gonna block, rather than just commit to anything, just walk forward and then you can block. You're out of the corner slightly. If they want to jump at you, that you can put them in the corner, and that's kind of exactly what we see.
Yeah, and then that dash shot, that was my first timestamp as well. As the dash shot on the jumping into the corner was so smart. Then that sonic boom to catch the sandblast at the beginning. Super great stuff from Du right there. But yeah, as you mentioned, NL, he was prepared. Like he had the level 1s, he had the perfect parries into jumps on the boom sequences as well, as we see there. There was a lot of good stuff. I think this was also, was this the round where he had the sick whiff punish on the crouch medium kick as well? Did that already happen? No. Okay,
with the fierce.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this was like another instance of like, and now he had the predator eye, the killer instinct. Like offensively, it was really hard for Nuckledu to defend himself, even with the flash kick.
Yeah, super sick, perfect parry right there. And then the situation I was talking about afterwards, I believe, is it happens right here in this first neutral situation where we see the crouch medium kick attempt from Du. Bam, just stand fierce. And then he just rides this whole momentum to the corner here. I love this neutral shimmy he gives Du to end the round. Like when both players are in the neutral.
I'm scared. That's the soul stealing ones. You know what? Like when you get a shimmy after a tick throw, it doesn't really count.
No.
You gotta walk up to someone and walk back. If you get the double, that's really when you stole their soul. But you know what? We'll take the one piece. We found the one piece. Oh my gosh. That was insane.
That was it.
We ain't messing around. That's that predator eye. That's what it is. That's that killer instinct.
So that was really just super sick from NL there. There was another moment that I have right here that I have down that I actually want to take the training mode to see if it's like replicatable, if this is like always happens. So NL does stand heavy kick meaty here on Guile, and then the second crouch jab whiffs, right? Like we have do a jab in response to blocking it, and then the second crouch jab whiffs, and it felt like NL wasn't even ready for it, right? So I wonder if like this is a thing that happens consistently off the stand heavy kick meaty. If like somebody tries to press their light button back, will the second one just whiff depending on the light button?
Which you could definitely time like a crouch medium punch this stuff out
exactly
with punish, which I'm sure we're gonna see like very soon.
So we
end up figure that one out.
We end up seeing this situation happen again later on, and Du only presses one jab. Like he definitely took note of the second jab whiffing, and he only presses one jab after.
I ain't risking it.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, this is an interesting thing that I want to see if it is consistent or not. But besides that, I don't think I had. Yeah, I'll have another timestamp till the next round if you have anything that you want to bring up.
That 25-20, which is like the next round. It's like the end of this round, I believe, which is just an unfortunate thing I wanted to point out. So here he gets the counter hit low forward. And then that does work. Like that does work.
Yeah.
Because it's 6 frames for each on hit and the startup of the OD flash kick. But it's just spacing dependent because it's only the first hit of the flash kick that's like frame 6, and then obviously all the other hits are like slightly later. I don't know if it was meant to be a crouch strong in there, and maybe that's what was meant to come out, and that's also maybe what messed it up. But it should have worked realistically, and that's just a really unfortunate drop that, yeah, definitely cost you the game.
Yeah, most definitely. I love the Japan Classic right here though, specifically on the jump back. Like, I always see the Japanese players do this when it's like going to be a round ending scenario. They'll do the drive rush, crouch, medium kick, immediate drive rush, cancel. They're just kind of betting that drive rush, crouch, medium kick is going to hit the person low. But this is a great time to bet it, in my opinion. After a jump back, you know the opponent's going to retreat. So he just catches them, trying to keep on walking back, kind of not anticipating how much distance Luke can cover with that, and then gets caught low. I thought that was super sick from NL.
Yeah, that's a good way to punish. It's not really a consistent way to deal with jump backs, and I feel like guard players do it the most because, I don't know, you just get out of situations with it, and then you can set up a boom, you can keep your charge both ways. So yeah, having that ready to be able to be like, okay, I can just drive rush low forward, and like you say, and just catch a Nuckledu walking back a bit too far.
Yeah, and then another time step I had, it was actually in this next round coming up here, was I really love the do you have one though that you want to bring up before I get to that?
I think it might be the same one as yours, so we'll just let it rock.
So yeah, we see does it have to do with crouch medium kick?
No, it had to do with the back light kick, which does happen right here.
Oh yeah, okay.
Basically.
Yes. So yeah, exactly. We have the same point then. So basically, I wanted to set that clip up though with like basically, so we see crouch medium kick there. It's this one. Oh no, it's not this one that I wanted to set it up with. Where
the
is
next
it here?
bit.
So we see crouch medium kick there. This is the one I wanted to set it up with. So we see the crouch medium kick on block, right? And immediate response from NL is the crouch medium push, the money button. Even on burnout, he's still pressing the money button when he sees the crouch medium kick get blocked. So I love the adjustment from Do here because, as you said, it does have to do with that bazooka knee. He puts it out there again. Slight walk back into bazooka knee to punish the crouch medium punch. This was such like a quick and immediate adjustment that I was like, bruh, like this is what I live for in fighting games.
Yeah, like literally the next interaction. In fact, he baits him to do it. He's like, hey, you know what worked last time? Do it again. Do it again. And that's something you can do in fighting games. You can bait your opponents into thinking there's a weakness there, and there's not. Because you've already figured it out. And like you said, try walk back, and yeah, you can tell it's premeditated because of the punish. Like he was like, yeah, if I hit this bazooka knee, I'm +4 here. I can get my stand light kick for the combo, and get the rounds. And he only did that because he knew that combo would kill as well. Like if it didn't kill, then he might not have done that. So it's just super sick to see.
Yeah, I was so impressed by that. Like, super immediate adjustment. Like you said, like it was so immediate that he was baiting him into doing it again. He was like, oh, you saw that worked? Like, come on, bro. Like, just do it again. You saw it worked. Why wouldn't it work again? So, yeah, it was
exactly.
So good. And then, we saw the level ones. Definitely, it was a consistent answer from NL. He did a great job. There was another moment, though, where I really liked an adjustment from Do. It's a little while, though, if you want to get to something before that.
My next point isn't to like 2:28:45.
Oh, okay,
so
okay, let's get to that.
You can sleep ahead.
2:28 around this time here. You got 42.
This is my point as well here, so... But you can go first.
No. This is I went to your point because my point's not till a little bit after.
Oh, I see. So yeah, here he does like the heavy kick here, and basically if you see a guard in burnout, you'll see them do this normal, like so much. Okay. It's because you can charge your super during it. It's super hit confirmable. So basically you just do it and then you hope that they try and DI you because it's like got a short enough startup that you'll pretty much hit DI every time if they do it. And it comes back to bite him later on. So I just wanted to point that out now that this is why he just does it over and over again. Yeah. It's because like if you try and DI, he can cancel into super easy. Even I can do that all the time. So it's like when I can do it, I'm like, okay, yeah, anybody can do it.
I got you.
But yeah, we'll see it again later on, and we'll see NL's adjustment.
Yes, indeed, we will. I now that you explained to me like why they do that, and I understand the way this game ends now. Or almost, I don't know if it was the ending sequence or the round before it, but yeah. So this was, I thought this was a really good adjustment from Do, right? We obviously saw the perfect parries on the booms earlier into the jump ins. So he sees them perfect parry the first one, perfect parries the second one. I'm done throwing booms at this point, right? He's like, all right, I know the rhythm. Like, I know he's starting to look for the type of way I'm throwing booms, so he just waits with the flash kick. I thought this was such a good adjustment to not just keep autopiloting your usual sonic boom rhythm.
Yeah, and definitely something you gotta be on top of. And again, that's like that the OD Sandblast is so annoying for Gar. He tries to set up the Sonic Blade, and then NL can just do that. He's got a buffering coming out from NL, but that's why he sort of slots in the level 2, because yeah, it makes it a lot harder. You can get a lot more space, and you still get that guaranteed chip.
Yeah, and then so you see this. We got do able to.
I actually can't remember the sense.
Yeah, I know in this round, but I like this little moment of the idle animation too, right before he gets it back.
I love it. Spread eagle, the lat spread. Oh my gosh, hitting him with it.
Yeah, then the crouch medium kick. So we see Do. Then he really controls this round. Really has a great round. Forces a game 5. And yeah, man, it was wild. It was a close one going down to the wire for sure.
Yeah, it really was. Especially like started off as 0-2 for Nuckledu. He definitely made some adjustments. But yeah, like I said, my last point is just that ending. I think it's like 233.
Okay. So yeah, that was my last point as well. Like we see the heavy kick meaty setup somewhere in here where Do only presses 1 light punch, but we don't really need to see that. Just me telling y'all about it is enough. But the last timestamp I do have is about 233.11. Because yeah, we see it here, right?
Yeah, again, he's still doing that heavy kick. Obviously, he's not in burnout here, but it's the same premise. Like, it's a great way to poke out of the corner because it travels you far forward. You know, it's safe on block. Does quite a lot of drive gauge damage, and you can cancel on hit. You can do whatever you want, and now just finds that spacing, almost baiting him into doing it, and then just jumps forward because that is the big weakness of it. Is like it just got such huge whiff recovery that it gets punished by like neutral jumps, like the forward jump there. And so yeah, basically if you're in burnout versus a good guard player, just jump at them. Like it sounds stupid, but if they're in the corner, if you just jump at them, they'll probably do the heavy kick and you'll probably punish them.
Yeah, it do be like that. It really does. So that was another great week of SFL, most definitely. Let me see here. Yeah, let me get us back on the screen with my hair going everywhere. But yeah, it was good stuff from NL2 to keep that composure, right? To make sure he didn't like let this 0-2 lead slip away like that. I thought in like round 2 of game 5 as well, I thought it was really interesting the way he played defense because he let a lot of DPs rip because he like won the first round and then he was like game 5, everything on the line. I'm already up around. Let me just let all this stuff rip. So dude baited out all of it and he was able to kind of like compose himself and go back to his usual style in round 3. But I like gambits like that, especially when you're already got a dub on the board. So big ups to everybody that played this week.
Yeah, don't have too much more to add. I can't remember how long is SFL. It's until like at least playoffs and then.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Is it 8 weeks or is it?
I want to say 8 weeks. Like that's what's in my
makes
head.
sense. I don't know.
So yeah, like that's what makes sense to me as well. So maybe this will be our last like usual weekly thing. We'll probably do something for the playoffs as well. I got some other stuff cooking up in regards to SFL. Like we saw the stats for Japan, and I kind of want to do that for the US. So hopefully we can get those out as well, just to give everybody an idea of how this game's being played, man. The numbers, I think, are used to confirm what we see with our eyes, right? I think that's kind of the best usage of stats a lot of the time.
Yeah, I feel like it can be hard because, like, you can overlook certain things. And, you know, for example, I think we saw, like, the DI reaction rates from people in SFL Japan, and it's kind of eye-opening. It's like, oh, okay, so like, yeah, it does actually work. But then you can break it down, like, why does it work, right? And that's kind of how you can use those stats. It's like, okay, why is it working more against this character or this player perhaps more than others? And I think that's why I like using stats, those kind of stats at least.
Yeah, absolutely. So big ups to everybody that tuned in this week. We'll be back with next week with another SFL US breakdown. Until then, be good to yourselves and be good to each other. We'll see you soon.